Hey guys, it's Cheese Games and welcome to a multiplayer platformer tutorial. To make this platformer game multiplayer, we're going to be using the new Unity multiplayer that came with Unity 5.1, I think. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to create an empty. We're going to call this player, and we're going to give it a player tag, and we're going to reset the position. Now we need some scripts to make it act like a platformer. We're going to get these scripts from another person and then copy it onto our project. So in the description you'll see a link that takes you here, and it gives you these scripts. So we can just open one of them. Well, what you're going to do is you're just going to make a script, a new script, call it whatever it's called here. So for example, I made a script called player, and so did this one. And now you're just going to copy all of it, select all of it, and paste it into our scripts. So we only need the controller 2D, the player, and the raycast controller. So on the player, we're going to add the player add the player script, and instantly you get all these three scripts attached with it. So if you look at the controller 2D, it says it needs a collision mask. What that's saying is it needs a layer that's collidable. So a cube, I created a cube, I'm gonna rename it to ground. Instead of just a regular box collider, I need the box collider 2D. And we're just going to drag this down a bit and size it 8 in the X value. Can't really see our player, so put another cube under it. Alright. So it says we need a collision mask. So this ground, we're going to attach the obstacle layer. Now it's not going to be default, you're going to have to go to add layer, and when it says user layer 8, just put obstacle there. Now we're going to put obstacle there, and here in player, going to say collision mask is obstacle. And now we should be able to move around with our guy. Alright, so that's working. Now we have a single player platformer movement, but we need to make this multiplayer. So let's create our network manager now. And create a new game object, not a child, just a regular game object. Call this network manager, and we're going to put the network manager HUD script on it. So you have a lot of variables here that we need to initialize. So if we try and drag our scenes here, it's not going to work. Oh, it is going to work, but you have to go to the build settings. Go to the build settings and then click add current. And then you should be able to put your scenes into there. Now we're going to go to the spawn info. It says to need a player prefab to spawn. So we're going to get our player, put it here, and drag our player onto there. Oops. And you can see here it says it does not have a network identity. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a network identity. And we're going to check local player authority. And we're also going to add a network transform. And what this is going to do is sync its movement over the network. Here in the rotation, we're not going to rotate our player at all, so we're going to just click none. And we're going to put the send rate all the way up there. And the movement threshold, I think, is fine how it is. So just apply. And now here in the network manager, should be able to put our player there. And that's all we need to do. The network manager. So delete your player from the scene, and we're going to try just doing our multiplayer now. So on one, click LAN host, and on the other, click LAN client. And you can see something's gone wrong already. So on the left side, sorry, I just accidentally. On the client side, both objects are moving at the same time. And so you can see, this is the client side. They're both moving, and this one, yeah. So the problem is they're not moving individually. Now to do that, we need to create a new script, short script. We just need to call it player network setup. So we're going to open it up. And first of all, delete all this. We need to have some references for networking. So you type using Unity engine.networking, and here we're going to put network behavior. That's basically just mono behavior, a bunch of extra networky stuff. So now we're going to make a function that's similar to the start function, but it only happens on the local player. So this is going to be a public override void on start local player. Now you have to type it like this with all the capitalization because it is a pre-made Unity function. So here we're just going to enable some components. So get component player, to be the controller first. Controller 2D dot enabled equals true, and get component player dot enabled equals true also. And now on the player we're going to disable. We're going to disable the controller 2D and the player. So now that they're only enabled for us local players, we should have individual moving on the network. So here's our host, and here's our client. So there we go. The client is moving, and the host can see that too. And same with this. Yep, working perfectly. So that's simple. You already have a simple multiplayer platformer in Unity, just like that. Thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.